civilian defense, for civilian self-defense, the only tool that really works, is this. The handgun, the gun. Now, you've seen a lot of YouTube videos, stuff on the movies, on TV, about other types of tools that may be, and they're called that, less lethal, those kind of things. Now, I did a video, two videos. One that says if you use a taser, that's stupid, and you shouldn't, because it makes no sense. And if you think you're going to get into a knife fight, that's even worse. Now, I'm going to explain why. So let's go through some of the tools, and I have a few, so we'll talk about that. How about this? Pepper spray. So, mace, pepper spray, right? Couple things about these things. I don't carry this anymore. I just have it in my junk drawer. One, if you deploy this, it's almost certainly to get on you, almost certain, which is why they now sell anti-CS stuff to get it off you. So it'll probably take you out of the fight for a little bit. And remember, you're in a fight. You're in close quarters if you're trying to use one of these. Second, if it wasn't in your hand, right, you're screwed. Any of these tools that are supposed to be used in your hand need to be in your hand when the fight starts, right? You can't be fumbling around for something. The other thing is, if you're in a closed room, and the smaller the room, the worse, you're pretty much gonna get everybody. It'll be a riot, right? It's too close and not effective, especially if it's a guy and he's attacking a woman and he wants to continue the attack. Now, there have been times where it has driven the person away, but in every one of those cases, the woman had it already in her hand, out jogging or whatever, and was able to deploy it immediately, which surprised the attacker, which is what's supposed to happen. That's usually not the case. So, less lethal, but not very effective if you're in the fight and you have now been attacked. How about the new darling of the tools world, the tactical pen? Yeah, drive through concrete, right? Yeah. So unless you are trained, or if you're not going to be driving in concrete, you're not going to be using a hammer. It's going to be in your hand. Hopefully, it's a last-ditch tool. And if you're in close quarters, which you will be, remember you're going to be arm's length, right, or closer. But unless you've been trained on how to use this, leverage pressure points, right, it's going to be taken away from you and you're going to get hurt. The other thing is that people always showed any strike above the neck from any tool is considered use of deadly force. You should understand that, right? So if you immediately go racking at the person's face with any tool like this, you are now using deadly force. And you have to use the same rules for the use of deadly force with this as you do from a firearm. Now, if you have to use deadly force, I mean from the neck up, to get the distance, to get away, or to go to your primary use of deadly force tool, then you have to do what you have to do. But just understand, the rules are the same. It takes way too much training to get good with one of these, to use it as Kubotan and pressure points and those kind of things. And you will almost certainly start doing this. If you're that close and you got to do it, understand you'll probably be using deadly force, and you need to back up to another deadly force tool, which is your firearm. Here's a good one, right? Yeah, I happen to like this. I use it for cutting boxes and stuff. But it's 3 inches, 4 inches, right? That's arm's length. Again, you are close. As soon as you deploy this in your hand with the blade out, you are now using deadly force. So if you have to use deadly force, you don't want to be that close to do it. The firearm is better. This will get you in a knife fight. And unless you know, and it takes a lot of training to do all the trick things that people do with one of these kind of tools, I'm not going to get in a knife fight, right? And if I have to use deadly force to back away, then I don't have any problem in doing that. But just understand, you are really, really close in when you're doing one of these. And if you're using it into the body, the person is not going to just fall down, right? Which is why you almost always have to go where it's going to make a difference. Use of deadly force is use of deadly force, right? Oh, my favorite. The neck knife, right? Everybody wants a neck knife or get off me knife, right? It follows the same rule as any other blade. This one is like a 2-inch blade. But in order, it might work if you're trying to get somebody's hand off your gun, if you're doing some retention. But if you're doing self-defense, you are under attack, right? As a last-ditch effort, what are you going to do with this? You're going to go right for the head, because that's the only thing that's going to get the person off of you. You have now used deadly force the instant that you take this out of its scabbard. And with whatever tool it is, as soon as you strike above the shoulder, you are using deadly force. And the rules apply. I got this a long time ago. It's kind of a cool idea. It's a flail, and it's bigger than a monkey fist because it's using it's using keys. You just want to make sure they're all metal and nothing plastic, or they'll break. But this can be used as a flail, and then on the back it has a little handle, so you can use it as a pummel tool. Again, this can hang out. You see a lot of people with ribbons and things with their keys in the pocket, but this kind of stuff hanging out. It can be deployed fairly quickly, but unless you know how to use a flail, you probably take yourself out in the process. You can hit yourself in the head, strike your own hand, arm, whatever. And if you strike somebody in the head with this, you're using deadly force, and you're close. And the training to use one of these is more than I think most people have the time to go and do and be effective. So the bottom line is this. The only tool you should have for self-defense against a violent attack is a firearm. Because if you're going to need to use deadly force, you might as well use deadly force at a distance to stop the threat, rather than try to get into a grappling, close quarter fighting thing. Because most people, civilians, are not trained to do that. And when you are, you almost certainly have agreed to a fight. You've done the monkey dance or some other kind of thing, and now you're not a bouncer. You're not a bouncer. That's not your job. Your job is to defend yourself against a violent attack. Best tool for that is a firearm. If you live someplace where you cannot defend yourself outside of your home with a firearm, move. Just saying. So thanks for watching. Carry on.